The 24-hour news cycle brings a constant stream of anxiety-inducing headlines about politics, natural disasters, and economic uncertainty. Social media floods us with the carefully curated lives of others that can make us feel inadequate or jealous. At work, shifting priorities and demands from management can make us feel powerless in an ever-changing environment. But the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome taught an important lesson. True calmness and serenity come from focusing our power inward on what we can control. As Epictetus said, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. What is within our control? Our own thoughts, attitudes, actions, and reactions. While we cannot control external events, we have absolute authority over our mindset and response to challenges. How we perceive setbacks and difficulties is entirely up to us. We can view them as sources of anger and frustration, or opportunities for growth and wisdom. Our reality is shaped from the inside out. Practicing this inward focus takes self-awareness and discipline. When you feel stress arising, pause and take a few deep breaths. Reflect on the thoughts running through your head. Are they productive or pessimistic? Redirect your focus to control what happens within, your mental state, attitude, and actions. You have the power to choose your response, calm or anxious, resilient or frustrated. The more we focus our energy on controlling our inner world, directing our thoughts and emotions constructively, the less external chaos can shake us. The Stoic sages realized that true power comes not from dominance over others, but self-mastery over one's own mind. Practice mindfulness. Our minds often dwell endlessly in the past or the future, leading to regret, anxiety, and missing out on the present moment. Practicing mindfulness helps us remain grounded by directing our attention to the here and now. Mindfulness means maintaining an ongoing awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without getting caught up in judgment or reaction. It's about noticing what's happening in your inner world from a calm, non-reactive state of mind. For example, when feeling anger arise, recognize the anger without expressing it impulsively. When preoccupied with worries about the future, gently bring your focus back to the present. When remembering past mistakes, acknowledge they happened without spiraling into shame. Mindfulness allows us to step back, observe our mental state objectively, and make wise choices. We can notice negative thought patterns and let them drift away rather than being controlled by them. Mindfulness helps us find the space between stimulus and response. Set aside at least 10-15 minutes each day for a formal mindfulness practice. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and tune into your breathing. When thoughts arise, don't suppress them. Simply return your attention gently to the breath. Start with short sessions and build up your capacity for awareness. Informal mindfulness can also be practiced anytime by taking mindful pauses. When washing dishes, focus on the warm water and sensations. When walking outside, pay attention to sights, sounds, and smells. Most people tune out. Appreciate the food you eat. Take mindful breaths during busy days. Living mindfully helps us discover tranquility within the rush of modern life. Our thoughts become like clouds just passing by, rather than inner storms. By continually returning to the present, we cultivate an oasis of calm, wisdom, and insight. Perspective and framing. The way we perceive difficulties and setbacks has a huge impact on our inner peace. Learning to reframe challenges through a lens of perspective and neutral framing is key to maintaining calmness. It's natural to view unpleasant or frightening scenarios catastrophically as the worst possible thing that could happen. For example, we might frame losing a job as "my life is ruined," or getting stuck in traffic as this is a nightmare. But these dramatic interpretations only generate more anxiety and despair. The Stoics teach us to reframe situations neutrally and objectively. Losing a job becomes, "This provides a chance to reevaluate my career path." With neutral framing, we stick to the facts without exaggerating or making emotional judgments. By zooming out to view things unbiased, challenges seem manageable rather than monumental. Each difficulty becomes an opportunity to practice calmness. Perspective is also key. When immersed in a struggle, it feels overwhelming and permanent. But in the grand scheme, most obstacles are temporary setbacks. Visualizing the bigger picture of our long life journey adds context and proportion. Staying calm comes down to how we frame our narrative. The old saying goes, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond." Our power lies in focusing clearly on the present, while keeping perspective on the road ahead. Prepare for obstacles. An essential Stoic practice is mentally preparing for potential difficulties before they arise. By anticipating challenges and premeditating our responses, we prime ourselves to respond calmly when faced with real-life setbacks. The philosopher Seneca advised using the technique of premeditatio malorum, which means imagining worst-case scenarios so that we aren't taken aback if they occur. For example, visualize dealing constructively with a serious health diagnosis or losing your job. By facing misfortunes in your mind first, you inoculate yourself against the shock of real adversity. When premeditating, envision maintaining composure, resilience, and clear perspective if the imagined challenge came to pass. See yourself responding thoughtfully rather than reacting rashly. This mental preparation builds self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to cope. Knowing you can keep your cool under stress will embolden you to face life's obstacles with equilibrium. Besides fortifying your serenity, premeditation also reduces worry. Rather than endlessly obsessing about problems that haven't happened yet, take constructive action by planning for challenges. Confronting fears in your mind robs them of their control over you. With practice, premeditation becomes a daily ritual. Make time to mentally walk through adversity, visualizing graceful perseverance. Training today prepares you to meet tomorrow's obstacles with self-control. Limit desires and expectations. Desire and fear go hand in hand. The more we want something, the more afraid we are of not getting it. This makes our happiness dependent on external factors like money, status, and other people's actions. The Stoics advise limiting our desire only to what's in our power, our values and character. Similarly, unrealistic expectations are setups for disappointment. Expecting life to be struggle-free or people to always behave how we want will inevitably lead to frustration. The world is full of unpredictability. Expect challenges and aim to face them with flexibility. The Stoics practice an attitude of gratitude for what they have rather than craving. Let go of rigid expectations and you'll be surprised at life's blessings. There is serenity to be found in accepting rather than grasping. By focusing only on your thoughts and actions, you are no longer a hostage to circumstance. Enjoy life's gifts without clinging to them. You will find calmness and courage to endure life's inevitable ups and downs. Slow down reactions. When faced with challenging people or situations, our natural reaction is often to lash out in anger or withdraw in fear. But responding purely out of emotion causes us to act recklessly and often regret it later. The Stoic practice of slowing down our reactions is key to maintaining calm composure. The philosopher Seneca advised, using the metaphor of an animal tamer when faced with provocation. Rather than reacting instantly like a wild animal, pause and give yourself time, like a tamer getting space between himself and the lion. Insert a gap between the stimulus and your response. In that gap, take a few deep breaths and consult your reason, not just emotions. Ask yourself, how can I respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively? What is the wise way to handle this? Taking a calm step back lets you see the bigger picture. You may decide the virtuous action is to walk away from confrontation or let go of anger towards someone. Or after consideration, you may take appropriate direct action. But it comes from a place of thoughtful choice, not knee-jerk reaction. Slowing down empowers you to shape the situation and choose who you want to be. With time, pausing becomes automatic, and you become the tamer of your wild impulses. Inner calm arises when you are no longer at the mercy of external forces and can filter your reactions through reason. The space between stimulus and response is your power. Cultivate resilience. By cultivating inner resilience, we can weather life's storms and bounce back wiser than before. Resilience is the capacity to recover, learn, and grow from adverse situations. We build it by changing our perspective on challenges. Rather than being victims of circumstance, we become students of life, seeking the lesson in each difficulty. Seeing crises as transformational opportunities fosters resilience. Ask yourself, how can this make me better? How can I show courage and honor virtue? When viewed as a chance to practice wisdom, adversity loses its sting. Also, connect to something bigger than yourself, your principles, humanity, or a higher power. This gives meaning and purpose to getting through struggles. You are part of an eternal flow, small but important, overcoming challenges as others have before you. With practice, resilience becomes habitual. Each time you bounce back, you become more confident in your ability to cope. You emerge from crises wiser, at peace with the fallbacks and flows of life. Storms pass, but your resilient spirit endures. In this video, you learned Stoic practices that help cultivate an inner oasis of calm. Here are the main takeaways. Focus inward on your thoughts, attitudes, actions. This is in your control. Practice mindfulness to build awareness and remain grounded. Reframe challenges neutrally. It's not what happens, but how you respond. Prepare for obstacles by premeditating constructive responses. Limit desires and unrealistic expectations that lead to distress. Slow down reactions. Pause between event and response. Build resilience to bounce back wiser from adversity. Inner calmness persists regardless of external disorder.